Welcome back to the news at 10. The Department of State Security Service has been accused by the family of Eyitayo of allegedly torturing their son, 38-year-old Saeed Eyitayo, to death on the 4th of April 2016. Although the DSS is yet to respond to this allegation, we spoke to a former director of the DSS, Mr. Mike Ejifo. He says the security service is not known to torture suspects because it is a written rule and anyone caught will be prosecuted.
When Saeed Eyitayo was going to bed on the 3rd of April, little did he know that would be his last. According to eyewitness accounts, security agents allegedly stormed his house at number 37 Ajay Street, Iyanoikwaja, in the early hours of 4th of April and whisked him away.
They now started asking him that where is really one. He said he saw him last week that he did not know where really one is. So they now started beating him hardly. So they tied him. They used rope to tie his hand in a backlight, as in back. They tied the hand in the back like this and the leg. They now started beating him.
It took the family several days to find out the whereabouts of Saeed and why he was taken in the first place. And by the time the family could put all the dots together, it was however a little too late.
The family was informed about the arrest and death of our son, Saeed Damilare Eyitayo. Before they came, they first of all went to somewhere. They were looking for a particular person called Riliwan or something of that nature. That he was involved in cloning of governor's telephone number. They simply broke in, confronted him, and they told them the friend they were looking for was not around, that he left in the morning, previous morning, that he was not around. He said he must know about him. They didn't know about this. According to what even the director of DSS confirmed to us, that my brother denied knowing anything. At that point, they descended on him.
Saeed's disappearance and eventual death remains a mystery to his neighbors, who are yet to come to terms with the incident.
I think it's somebody that is just simple, somebody that is going in and coming out. I've never discovered anything criminal with him.
Attempts to make the Department of State Security react to these allegations has been unsuccessful, but a top official in the agency who pleaded anonymity says the incident is currently under investigation. In the meantime, a former operative of the DSS told Channels Television that the service has a written rule against torture.
Generally, the State Security Service is not used to torture. In fact, it's a punishable offense or a disciplinary offense if you are caught subjecting your suspect to torture.
For now, the family of the deceased, through their lawyer, Babs Anima Shaw, has petitioned the Chief Judge and Attorney General of Lagos State to set up a coroner's inquest to determine the cause and manner of death of late Saeed Eyitayo. Victoria Idowu, reporting for Channels Television News.
Our community report tonight takes us to Mon area in Kwanda local government area of Benue State. For over 3 years, that community has been under siege by herdsmen who have destroyed homes and public institutions, including schools, health facilities and places of worship. They're alleged to have taken advantage of a land dispute between the people of Mon and the Jukun in Kashimbila area of Taraba State.
Now you're talking.
Destroyed buildings, ravaged homesteads and damaged public facilities are the grim reminders of the rampaging herdsmen's attacks on Mon community in the last 3 years. Public schools, primary health care centers and churches razed or demolished. The invaders' livestock graze peacefully in the nearby bushes, but their displaced hosts, who have been driven from their homes, seek accommodation in makeshift shelters. The residents trace the plight of Mon to communal clashes with the Jukuns of Kashimbila, a bordering community in Taraba State. Some of the leaders here speak on the crisis.
They came with sophisticated weapons, with large number of cows, and overran us and took over the place. We're now displaced. Some of our people are in Cameroon. We have no concentrated camps because we have not been provided with camps. So most of the people are scattered all over the land.
The demarcation, our border problem between Benue and Taraba. Because the federal government didn't demarcate our border clearly. That is why the Jukun people are inviting the Fulani people to chase out of the area so that they will occupy our land. That is our cause.
While over 100 people are reported to have lost their lives in the crisis, it is the students who appear to be the worst hit. With the destruction of their schools by the herdsmen, they have been unable to sit for either WAEC or NECO exams.
We are taking the students to Jatoka and then we are going on with the studies in Jatoka here. But the environment in which we are operating the school is not conducive.
I am a student from Government Science Secondary School, IESE, and we are not operating in our former place where IESE, but now we are temporarily in Jatoka here. We are not letting WAEC and we are not letting any senior exam.
Internally displaced and stranded villagers detail the atrocities carried out against inhabitants of Mon Council Ward by herdsmen on this banner. One of the victims recounts her ordeal through an interpreter.
They
came that day and they they were chasing them, they were killing with the Fulani herdsmen. They killed my husband that very day.
The economic and social impact of the herdsmen's attacks is almost unquantifiable.
We wish the government of Benue State to do something very fast to alleviate our people, to alleviate us from this hardship.
Governor Samuel Otom, however, assures the people of security efforts in collaboration with the Taraba State government to define the boundary and contain herdsmen attacks.
Taraba State government and Benue State government met with the National Boundary Commission, and we already sent a sensitization committee to a tour of both Benue side and Taraba side with the aim of trying to do the final demarcation so that we know where we belong. But apart from the boundary dispute, other people who were not actually affected by this boundary dispute were chased out and their homes destroyed, and the herdsmen are occupying those lands. And
the intended displaced persons now seek refuge in the semi-urban center of Jatoka, waiting the much-anticipated action by government that would restore their lands, homes and livelihood to them and enable them return to the life they've always known.
Now you're talking.
We're in the southeast now, where Anambra State Governor Willie Obiano will be appending his signature to the state's health insurance scheme, which will ensure adequate health service delivery for the masses in the state. The governor said this during the inauguration of the newly reconstituted 14-member board of the Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu University Teaching Hospital, Amaku Waka, at the Governor's Lodge, Amobia. The board is expected to transform Anambra State to a health tourism center for the southeast region and the entire country.
The entrance of Governor Willie Obiano sets the tune of the day, the inauguration of the newly reconstituted board members. Opening the floor for speeches, the State Commissioner of Health, Dr. Joe Akabuike, explains that the reconstitution of the board is to reposition and transform the state's teaching hospital.
That teaching hospital should be second to none in Nigeria, and that's why we need people like you, people that will eventually be appointed to make sure that this goal is achieved. Of course, within the first 2 years, we have registered a lot of successes.
While charging the new members to be dedicated to their duties, Governor Obiano reassures residents of his administration's commitment in improving the health sector.
Our people find it difficult to pay hospital bills after being treated, and therefore makes practice here, unlike in most other areas, very attractive. And to solve that problem, in the next few weeks, I'll be signing off the health insurance scheme. This health insurance scheme will ensure and guarantee that every doctor is paid for services rendered.
Given their assurances, the chairman of the board, Igwe Emeka, says they will put in their best to achieve much more than the mandate given to them.
I know how hard you've been working to move this state forward. And we share in this dream of yours. And because we share in it, we will do everything possible to ensure that we move even further than you will imagine.
The new board has a 4-year tenure, and within this period, their mandate is to ensure that the health sector is transformed for the better.
Let's go beyond Nigeria now. South Africa has flagged off the Africa Month with a symposium of the Africa World Heritage Fund, which is also marking its 10th anniversary. The symposium had more than 70 heritage practitioners, academics, as well as community representatives, where they looked at harmonizing heritage and development initiatives. They also decried the many threats of the preservation of the continent's natural and cultural heritage, like insurgency and poaching. May 25th is Africa Day, marking the formation of the Organization of African Unity, now known as the African Union. Our South Africa Bureau Chief, Betty Dibia, reports.
Present were heritage professionals, policymakers, academics, civil society, and community representatives to reflect on the past and future of Africa's world heritage.
We must pave the way for a new generation, as stated by the minister here this morning, of African professionals who can take ownership of their rich heritage.
But then again, there may not be a lot left to take ownership of soon, given various factors.
As we are trying to catch up with other regions of the world, as Africa, the destruction, the defacing of the heritage landscape in our country is not helpful at all.
We must work together to ensure that we get the poachers out of Africa. But also poachers will not be functioning if there's no market. And we should talk to the market, especially in Asia.
You can only love what you're exposed to. So it's up to us as broadcasters and part of the media to popularize this African thing, whether it's African identity, African history.
The activities of insurgents in the northeast part of the country has affected heritage in its tangible and intangible forms, particularly the World Heritage Site of Suku, which is the first World Heritage Site for Nigeria and one of the two that Nigeria has.
Nigeria doesn't exactly score high points in preserving and developing its heritage sites. That, added to security concerns, must be extra worrisome. Africa is home to less than 10% of the globally recognized World Heritage Sites, but even the few here are still threatened by issues ranging from poaching to militancy, as well as a general disregard for history and its preservation. But those attending the seminar here believe that to move forward, it takes from the continental to community levels to make things right. From the cradle of humankind, Maropeng, South Africa, Betty Dibia, Channels Television News.
Still ahead on the news at 10, world number 1 Novak Djokovic prevails over Andy Murray to claim Madrid Open title for the second time. We'll have more in sports news. Please join us again.